Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, I got a fun and unexpected video for you guys today because earlier this week, a translation for PoPoRoGue appeared online. If you're not familiar with what that is, it is a series of role-playing games that has some absolutely lush visuals and amazing storylines as well, but for the most part, they've been locked to the Japanese language. But now, as of like 6 or 7 days ago, PoPoRoGue is no longer locked to that language whatsoever because it has a full English translation. And this is after getting another translation of a game in the series in 2024. So we're getting really close to almost all of these games being playable in English and being able to be enjoyed. And that is absolutely awesome because when I say these are some absolutely charming 32-bit 2D JRPGs, I 100% mean it. And it's going to be a hell of a lot more fun actually understanding the story. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But if you've never heard of PoPoRoGue before, I wouldn't be surprised, but trust me, go ahead and look up this franchise history and you'll see that there are a ton of amazing games in it. If you like a classic 16-bit style JRPG, then you're going to absolutely love what is on offer here. And the nice thing is, even if this game isn't the first in the franchise, you don't really need to know a lot about the previous games to be able to jump in and enjoy it. And just so you know, I'm just kind of showing you the beginning areas of the game, a little bit of combat, and a little bit of the story beats to kind of get you into the game, and that way there is a jumping off point to try to compel you to play this thing. Because this is a really special RPG, it's absolutely lush, and really kind of gives the promise of what 2D graphics would have been like on the 32-bit era had Sony not basically kept them all from us in North America. Because if you're not aware, basically PlayStation executives didn't really want many 2D games coming over to the US, so I'm sure some of these that could have been translated back in the day just really didn't come over because Sony was so much prioritizing all those 3D games, which makes total sense. That's what the market wanted back in the 90s, but it still means the hundreds upon hundreds of amazing successful 2D games in Japan never left the Japanese shores, so it really is down to translators bringing us these amazing efforts to actually enjoy the games. And when I say this is a monumental lift as far as the translation is concerned, I mean it. This game is absolutely dense with actual language. I'd say I'm about 5 hours into the game right now, and there's been thousands upon thousands of lines that I have seen translated into the English language. But as we get to the combat here, if you played one JRPG, you basically played them all. There's not really going to be anything here that you wouldn't see in any other game, outside of the fact that you can kind of move around the map almost like a tactical RPG. It is a very light element, but it does give you an extra component of fun. And I absolutely love all of the 2D animations along with the 3D effects you're going to get into the game. It really does blend the best of what PlayStation 1 could do in both 2D and 3D, and it really does feel like a game that would have been massively successful had it actually come over to the US back in the 90s. But as we jump back into the beginning of the game, I am jumping around in time. You will see now you're going to be able to understand exactly what's going on in the game. And for as much fun as any game is that you can play with a walkthrough, kind of explaining how to beat the game in Japanese, getting the story in an RPG is so incredibly important when it actually comes to understanding not only what you're doing, but why you want to do it in the first place. Just be aware this game has some really weird long black loading screens. I left that in there just so you could understand it, because one of the things I wish they'd actually change about the game back in the day, but it is a tiny complaint. But like I said, understanding the motivation and why you're actually playing a game and understanding who the hero is and what motivates him to complete his quest is so incredibly important in any game, especially an RPG, and that's why I've never really gone through any RPG purely in Japanese to experience the graphics and gameplay, because I always wonder what the hell's going on. There is an RPG on the PCFX of all places, Last Imperial Prince, that I've always wanted to actually play to completion, but I always get so bored because I don't know what the hell's going on. And like I said, this is just the beginning of the game, so I've definitely kept this thing spoiler free, but take it from me, if you play one translation in 2025, I would definitely try to make it this one, just because the amount of effort on display here is massive. The game is incredible, has some incredible 2D artwork, and really just kind of hits in every single way possible. And I just love this introductory sequence here, all the soldiers and their animations. Every single sprite, every single background is so lush and 32-bit looking. It really does just basically show you exactly what you could have gotten in Japan if you spoke the language. But a soundtrack sample one time because this game also has incredible music, so listen, and I'll be right back.
相変わらず臆病だな、パウラバカプカ。僕の こと忘れたかい？あの時のことは2人だけの秘密だよ。忌まわしき記憶を封印するため、
汝のポポロクロイスはこれより我が無限王国の一部となるのだ。
Not only is the soundtrack amazing in this game, but so is the voice acting, and it's absolutely a vibe there with all the reverb on it. The problem when it was in Japanese is it's a vibe you just couldn't understand. You would know that something dramatic was happening, you would know that something was going on in the game, but you'd have to kind of leave it up to your own imagination to really understand exactly what was being said. But now again, all of those lines are in English, and that's what I love about the ROM hacking community. They're taking games that are absolute masterclasses in their genre and bringing them to an entirely new audience, because this game really does feel special, and I wish we had more games translated like it, because these are definitely the final boss of English translations. Not because it's any harder to get the English language into a game like this than it is any other game, but just in the fact that these manuscript that you actually have to translate is basically probably going to be dictionary big. There's so many lines written for this game, there's so many different variables in what you can do. Every single menu, every single item and its description is now in full English, and in my time playing this I haven't found a single spelling error, a single grammar error, any other kerning or formatting of the text problems whatsoever. This really feels like you just found a prototype English language version of PoPoRoGue and then released it on the internet for free for everyone to enjoy, because that does happen every once in a while, and this has that same amount of polish as a full retail game, and that's the highest compliment I can pay to a translation, if it's not only conversational English that you want to read, but also when all of the formatting is correct, because when line spacing is broken it doesn't really affect your ability to actually read and understand what's going on, but it does kind of pull back the veil of it being a ROM hack and unofficial release in English versus actually being something that you could have bought on a disc. But I just love this forest area here as well. Those light rays coming through on some of the 3D hardware on the PlayStation 1, they just really look great. And when you combine that together with the isometric viewpoint, it really does give you a great sensation of scale. And I love all the enemy sprites as well. This beetle here has so much personality. And again, these are just early enemies. They're going to be a lot bigger and a lot harder to beat as you get into the game. But when it comes to translations that are very story heavy, I don't really like showing you guys more than past the actual intro sequence. I want to just wet your whistle and kind of get you to get a little bit of an appetite of actually wanting to play a game like this, so you can go in and discover all of the storyline and gameplay on your own. Because just think of all those amazing 16-bit and 32-bit JRPGs you played back in the day, understanding what was going on in the story and kind of unraveling the world around you. That was as much fun as actually playing the game. So to spoil that for you before you have your first playthrough would just be a disappointment. And again, with the translation, you're going to see here every single thing is in English. I didn't find a single stray kanji character anywhere in the game, and I played this thing maybe for like 4 or 5 hours at this point in time, and I've had no issues whatsoever. I tried it on real hardware, and this capture right here is on DuckStation just for ease of use. But I'm going to go to the next soundtrack sample, 35 seconds, and then I will show you kind of the inciting incident of how all the action in the game is actually going to jump off. But enjoy, because this music is straight up deliciously good. I mean, that's just an iconic tune if there ever was one, and now that we've actually gotten into this house here, and I've kind of cut out as to how you found out you had to go here, so even that intro sequence will be a little bit of surprise to you. You're going to find out that there is a cavern you need to go to get a couple items, and it's a cavern that's basically exclusively used for the royal family in this game. But PoPoRoGue really does have everything going on for it. It is absolutely an amazing looking 2D JRPG with a ton of fun story that now is 100% readable. That really is the takeaway in anything like this. You can understand understand the story and you're going to be motivated to actually want to play the game. Because on non-JRPGs that I've kind of poked through in the Japanese language that I did beat, I really had to motivate myself to want to keep playing even more because I loved the gameplay, but I was kind of getting bored not understanding what was happening and why I was doing anything in the game other than to experience it. But these translations, these ROM hacks really do keep the love of the hobby alive for everyone. So if you're a PlayStation 1 fan, if you're a JRPG fan, or if you played other games in this franchise, you definitely have to check this one out. And if this is your first time hearing about it, I would be curious. Leave me a comment down below. And just so you know, I also tested this on MiSTer FPGA and it worked perfectly fine. So I will leave a link in the description below to the patch. You'll have to grab a game and patch it yourself, but I'm sure if you kind of look around there somewhere, you might find a pre-patched version as well. But PoPoRoGue is just a straight up 10 out of 10 franchise in my opinion. It has everything you need out of a JRPG. It is all meat, no filler. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.